let's get things started with the Big 12 tournament. This will take place in the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri, Wednesday to Saturday. The 9 teams in this tournament, because Oklahoma State's not eligible. By the way, they might have a top 5 defense, held 2 tournament teams to 86 combined points in their final 2 games. I think they closed on a 13-2 run against Texas Tech over the final 9:36, but they won't be there. We have 9 teams. There's only 1 first-round game. The other 7 teams get a bye. That's West Virginia, Kansas State. For what it's worth, 4 of the past 7 champs have been a 3 seed or lower. That includes the defending champ, Texas, who was a 3 seed. I think they were about 5-1 last year. I fortunately had some of that. The co-favorites, I should say, Kansas and Baylor, plus 200 each. Texas Tech plus 340. Texas plus 550. I think the most intriguing long shot might be TCU. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the bracket now. And one thing I do want to clarify: moneyline rollover. So you want to. Sometimes it's better to do a moneyline rollover than it is to take a future. You want to price that out if you can. You have more flexibility with a moneyline rollover. Now, when you don't want to do it, is obviously if the future is priced better. But if there's like an opportunity for chaos, right? If you think that maybe like a 1 seed or 2 seed goes down, and then you're playing an easier team down the stretch. I don't really think that's in the cards here. They're going to be playing pretty good teams throughout. I don't know. I think that it's probably around like 25-1 is what I projected it at if they played the highest seeds possible. But we have seen TCU and Texas play Kansas very tight. Who's going to win that game? I think that's you got to figure that out first. Who's going to win, TCU or Texas? If Kansas gets through, the winner of West Virginia, Kansas State, those 2 teams will meet. Baylor, I'm sure, is looking forward to getting some revenge on Texas Tech in the bottom half if those 2 teams meet up. What do you see in this bracket? Where's the value? Talk to me.
Yeah, the Texas-TCU matchup is going to be excellent. Texas just might be a tough matchup for them, though. They swept them in the regular season. They neutralized Lampkin inside, and they're not really bothered by TCU's athleticism. I think that's kind of what TCU's had an edge on most teams. They have that guard perimeter athleticism and length, and Texas kind of negates it. So maybe TCU is just faced with a team that unfortunately is one of the tougher matchups for them in this conference. Now, 25-1-ish right now, I think at most books, pretty good value on TCU. I'm really looking at Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech. I'm not sure a team outside of those 3 can win this tournament.
Well, if Baylor and Texas Tech meet up again, would you favor Baylor in the 3rd meeting?
I think I would, but without Cryer, and obviously JTT's out too, it gets a little bit dicey then. And Texas Tech is certainly not a fun team to fade, even at a neutral site. I know they're not at home here, but yeah, I'd probably lean towards Baylor.
Yeah, we have, we've talked about this a lot. We've debunked the myth, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and teams that won the first 2 meetings in the regular season are actually, like 52% against the spread over the past 30 years historically. Texas Tech beat Baylor twice in the regular season, but I think that there are exceptions. Like Baylor is like a veteran, just a winning team, and well-coached, and it's going to depend on personnel, but I think this might be one of the times where it's like, Baylor, the defending national championship, lost twice to Texas Tech, might mean a little more to them. But a lot of times it's just the reason that you lost twice in the regular season is, unless there were injuries, is there's matchup issues, right? And that's the reason that you won both games. So ultimately, the Texas TCU game is just throwing me for a loop because Texas did beat TCU rather easily in both meetings. And I watched every minute of, both games Kansas and Texas played. They split. Kansas got them at home in overtime. Kansas also split with TCU. Texas easily could have won in Lawrence on senior day, where they've won 39 straight. TCU, who won easily at home against Kansas, and the next day they were right there with Kansas, giving them problems on the offensive glass with their athleticism. So I don't know. I think that if you're going to take a long shot, if you like one of Texas or TCU in that matchup, I think that's where, Texas isn't really a long shot, but I think that's where I would target. If someone's going to take out Kansas, I think that's as far as I would go down the seed lines. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would take Kansas. Just the way they look right now, they don't look peak form. And as far as long shots go, I'm probably not taking Iowa State. I think Texas Tech handles them here. I don't think Iowa State would get past Baylor in the next round. So I'm probably targeting Baylor as a realistic champion, maybe Texas Tech. And then your long shot would be, you're right, either TCU or Texas, I think is 5-1 right now. That's not terrible odds.